Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a whole stack of sources and research and really just pull out the knowledge you need to upgrade your understanding. Instantly. And today, we are diving deep into a really fascinating, but let's be honest, a frustrating corner of advanced English.
The language of adaptation.
Exactly. You've probably paused trying to find that perfect word when you're talking about adjusting to something. Should you say you get used to it? Or do you get the hang of it?
Yeah.
This deep dive is going to be your answer. Okay, now, before we jump right into all the nuances, we have to handle a quick but really crucial piece of business.
Super important.
It is. The absolute best way to support what we do here, to support this kind of detailed analysis, is to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Daily Colloquial English.
And share it.
And share it widely with your friends, your subscription, your shares.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that's what lets us keep bringing these insights straight to you.
That's right. And for this deep dive, our mission is, well, it's to move you from an intermediate level to full mastery of 4 specific expressions.
Right? Go. That's core. We're talking get used to, get accustomed to, get acclimatized to, and get a hang of. We really need to define those subtle but critical differences.
In meaning, grammar, all of it.
All of it. If you master these, your conversational skill level genuinely jumps.
I think the most challenging part for our listeners is that they all they feel so similar. I mean, the common thread is obviously adaptation, right?
Of course.
That whole process of adjusting or learning something that was unfamiliar until it feels natural. So what's the core differentiator?
Well, the problem isn't the core concept. It's the implementation. These 4 phrases, they differ significantly in a few crucial areas. First, their form, the grammar you have to use.
Okay.
Second, their specific meaning or context. And third, their formality, what we call register.
Wait, let's pause on register for just a second. For a learner, what does that actually mean in, practical terms?
That is a great question. Register is it's the right level of language for a specific social situation.
It's all about who you're talking to, where you are, and what your relationship is. I mean, you don't use the same words texting your friend as you do writing a formal cover letter, right?
Of course not. Yeah.
That shift in vocabulary and grammar based on the context, that's register. And these 4 phrases, they use completely different registers.
Excellent. So let's start with the one we all hear the most, the neutral workhorse.
Mm-hmm.
Get used to. How does this one define itself?
Right. Get used to is your default. It's for that daily general sense of familiarity. The core meaning is just that something difficult or strange becomes normal or easier because you've experienced it over and over.
And it's super common.
Very common. And neutral. You can use it in almost any social situation.
Okay, but if there's one grammatical detail that trips up even advanced learners, it's the grammar of get used to. That little word to it's like a linguistic trickster.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And this is the first hard rule you need to just burn into your brain. In the structure get used to, the word to is a preposition.
Not part of an infinitive verb, like to walk or to talk.
Precisely. It's a preposition, which means it has to be followed by a noun, a pronoun, or most commonly, a gerund.
The ing form of a verb.
The ing form. Think of it this way. You are adapting to something. That something has to be a noun. So, for example, I'm getting used to living alone now. You are adapting to the act of living.
You cannot say I'm getting used to live alone.
Absolutely not. That ing ending is totally non-negotiable for adaptation.
Okay, so that's our neutral standard. Now let's look at its formal twin. Get accustomed to. If the meaning is the same, why do we even need this phrase? Is it just a pretentious substitute?
That's the exact skepticism every smart learner should have. And the answer is, you need it purely for register. Get accustomed to is significantly more formal.
Okay.
While its core meaning, becoming familiar, is identical to get used to, you're basically signaling a higher level of language awareness when you use it.
So where would I see this?
You might see it in, say, a policy document, a formal report, maybe academic writing. Your boss might email you, please ensure staff get accustomed to using the new secure software.
But I wouldn't say that to my colleague in the break room.
No, you'd sound a little stiff. You'd just say, I'm getting used to the new software. It's much more natural.
So it's really function over form. Used to is the function, and accustomed to is the formal overlay. And grammatically, they're identical.
Exactly. Grammatically, they are twins. They live in different social spheres.
That brings us to our third expression. Get acclimatized to. Now this one, it feels inherently tied to geography, to physical things.
It is. This expression is specialized. When you use get acclimatized to, you're talking specifically about adjusting to a new climate, a new environment, or a new set of physical conditions.
The external world is driving the difficulty.
Yes, exactly. Not just a mental shift. We're talking about things like extreme weather or high altitude.
Or even a big schedule change.
That too. Imagine traveling to the Himalayas. You don't just get used to the air, you have to get acclimatized to the altitude. Your body physically needs time to adjust.
Or moving from, say, Canada to Florida in the summer.
Perfect example. You need to get acclimatized to the oppressive humidity and heat. The register here is sort of medium formal. You hear it in travel shows, scientific reports, things like that.
And for those of us listening in North America, we should point out that we often shorten this one.
Yes. In American English, you'll frequently hear the shorter form, get acclimated to, but the meaning, the context, it all stays the same. Adjustment to physical conditions.
Okay, so far we've got 3 phrases for adapting to a situation, and they all share that critical to plus inging structure. Let's move to number 4, which kind of breaks the mold. Get the hang of.
This is the necessary departure. Get the hang of is purely and exclusively about acquiring a skill.
That's it, just for skills.
Just for skills. It means you're moving past that awkward beginner stage and you're finally achieving competence in a new ability.
I love that image. It's like that moment where it all just clicks. You figure out the trick.
That is exactly right. The source material defines it as learning how to do something. So, you can't use it for climate or culture shock, only for a skill.
So learning to use a new software or mastering a guitar riff.
Or programming in a complex language, yes. You're trying to get the hang of it. And the register here is very informal, super common in spoken English.
Okay, so if the focus is on competence, the actual doing, then get the hang of is the only option. Like, it took me weeks to finally get the hang of parallel parking.
Precisely. That is skill acquisition. Clear and simple.
All right, we've established the 4 categories. Let's do a quick summary of the differences before we get into the traps. Because the traps, that's where people really get stuck. So here's the learner's shortcut. 1, get used to. Focus is on general familiarity. Register the neutral.
Right.
2, get accustomed to. Focus is formal familiarity. Register is formal.
The formal twin.
3, get acclimatized to. The focus is on environment, climate, or physical conditions, and it's semi-formal.
Yep.
And 4, get the hang of. Focus is only on learning a skill, and it's informal.
That chart is a great way to think about it. But now, as you said, we need to dive into the grammatical traps. We found 6 specific pitfalls that can trip up even experienced learners.
Okay, so trap number 1. This one deals with the word used to itself.
Yes. Trap 1 is the confusion between past habit and adaptation. These are 2 totally separate structures.
Okay.
Past habit is used to plus base verb. It means something you did in the past but don't do anymore. I used to drink coffee. I drank coffee in the past.
But adaptation is different.
Completely. Adaptation is get used to plus ing. It's about the process of becoming familiar. If you mix them up, the meaning just collapses.
So the little word get completely changes the grammar and the meaning. But wait, there's another layer here. Trap 2. What's the difference between be used to and get used to?
Vital distinction. This is trap 2. State versus process.
Okay, break that down.
Get used to using the verb. Get describes the process. The change from unfamiliar to familiar. It focuses on the transition. I'm getting used to the early mornings. I'm in the middle of that difficult adjustment.
It's happening now.
Right. But be used to using am describes the final state. You are already familiar. I am used to the early mornings. The adaptation is complete. It's normal now.
Oh, wow. So get used to is the journey and be used to is the destination. That's a game changer for conversational accuracy.
It absolutely is. Now, let's go to the trap that applies to basically all of these. Trap 3, the preposition rule.
This is the big one, the ing reminder.
The big one, yes. Because to is a preposition in these phrases, you must follow it with a gerund, that ing form. It is the single most common error we see.
So I got used to work long hours is wrong.
It's wrong. It has to be I got used to working long hours. There is no exception.
Okay, we've covered grammar. Now for the contextual traps. Trap 4, the exclusivity of acclimatized.
That's right. It is only for environmental adjustment. If you say you're getting acclimatized to managing a team, it sounds like management is a kind of extreme weather system.
Which, I mean, sometimes it feels that way.
It might, but linguistically it's wrong. That's a job skill. So it has to be getting the hang of managing a large team.
And trap 5 is just the reverse of that error, with get the hang of.
Exactly. Since it's strictly about skill, you can't use it for climate or just general familiarity. You can't say, I got the hang of the culture in Tokyo.
No, you get used to the culture.
You'd get used to the culture and you'd get acclimatized to the weather. The context has to match the verb.
And finally, trap 6, the register warning. This one is huge for anyone doing formal writing.
It is. Because get the hang of is so informal, you just can't use it in academic essays or formal business reports. It's inappropriate.
So you have to substitute it.
You have to substitute it. Instead of the engineers got the hang of the new process, you'd write something like, the engineers learned to apply the new process. Always match the language to the setting.
That deep dive into the traps is incredibly clarifying. Okay, so we have the definitions, we have the pitfalls.
Yeah.
Let's see them in action. Let's run through a scenario.
Oh, perfect.
Imagine someone relocating for a new job. A big move.
Okay, let's say Sarah moves from a quiet little town to a massive, loud city like London.
Right.
So first, just adjusting to the noise, the crowds, the pace. She would tell her friends, it's taking me a while to get used to the constant sound of sirens.
That's general familiarity, neutral register.
Exactly. But if she's writing a report for HR about settling in,
She'd have to switch up the language.
she would. She might write, I am quickly getting accustomed to the rapid pace of decision-making in the new office. Formal phrase for a formal audience.
Okay, now what if her new office building has terrible air conditioning? It's always blasting cold air.
That is an environmental condition. She would complain, I'm struggling to get acclimatized to the extreme temperature shifts in this office. It's a physical thing.
And finally, the skill part. Let's say she had to learn a totally new software for the job.
Pure skill acquisition. She'd tell a colleague, I spent all weekend on it, but I think I'm finally getting the hang of the data visualization tools. The ability is the focus.
That one scenario just beautifully lays out all 4. Familiarity, formality, environment, and skill.
It really does.
Okay, let's try another area. Sports. Physical activity.
Sure. Let's take a runner. If a runner moves from sea level to, say, Denver, they have to adjust to the altitude.
They need to get acclimatized to training at 5,000 feet. That's the environment.
Right. But if that same runner just decides to go from jogging to marathon training, that's more of a routine change.
So they're just getting used to running 5 times a week.
Correct. It's a neutral routine adjustment. But what if they hire a coach to learn the technical form for sprinting?
Ah, that's a skill. They're trying to get the hang of the new running technique.
You've got it. The clarity is all there. If you can substitute learning the ability to, you use get the hang of.
If you can sub in becoming comfortable with the conditions of, you use get acclimatized to.
And if you can just say becoming familiar with, you use get used to or accustomed to if you're being formal.
That is the key. That's the synthesis right there.
That's it. And just remember those 6 traps we talked about, especially the 2 + eng rule. Mastering these phrases means mastering their grammar first.
Yeah.
So to wrap this whole deep dive into 4 concise sentences, just remember this. Use get used to for daily neutral adjustment.
Okay.
Use get accustomed to for formal contexts. Use get acclimatized to for environment or climate. And use get the hang of for learning a specific skill.
That truly is the ultimate toolkit. And now, for your final challenge, the part designed to move this from theory into practice.
Your turn.
Your turn. We want you to write a single paragraph, maybe 6 to 8 sentences long, about adjusting to a major life change. A new job, a new city, whatever. Your task is to use all 4 of these expressions correctly within that paragraph.
Make sure the grammar and the context are perfect.
If you can do that, you have completed this deep dive successfully.
We look forward to hearing about your success. Thank you for diving deep with us.
We'll see you next time.